today. Back in studio, Leo Cannyn, Beryl Project Engineering. Welcome back, sir.
Well, thank you. This has been crazy. Thursday through Saturday, we had 3 days straight of just nonstop rain.
Yes.
It's just Wednesday through Saturday.
It's getting crazy.
It's just crazy. Crazy the rain that we're having.
Saturation in the ground in winter.
Yeah, water tables are rising, houses are flooding, roofs are leaking. That's why we have Anthony with us today.
Yeah, Anthony's making his debut. Anthony Maselli, project engineer, Beryl Project Engineering lead inspector. Welcome in.
How are you?
Yeah, doing great. And yourself?
Good.
Awesome.
Staying dry.
Yeah, staying dry, getting out of that rain for a little while. So you're going to be speaking more on the insurance claim side of the business.
Yes.
Yeah. So the insurance claims, that's something we've talked about in the past with different storms coming through, some of the unscrupulous practices of some of the contractors that come up to the door. So we're going to talk about that, give you some consumer advocate tips here and things that you can do to live a better life. Avoid a lot of the commission-based advice that's so prevalent out there, making you just a bit more street smart on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And this segment is brought to you by the Bilmar Beach Resort over on Gulf Boulevard in Treasure Island, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's filled with fantastic and generous amenities. You got 2 pools on site. You've got the restaurant on site as well, the world famous Sloppy Joe's restaurant on site. Bilmar Beach Resort, Treasure Island, the official partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, the hotel partner that is. And give them a call. Let them know that you heard for the show. You're listening to the show here and you want to go have a little mini vacation, staycation down there. Or if you're planning a corporate outing or some type of an event, maybe even a wedding, they've hosted some really good weddings down there as well. The Bilmar Beach Resort right on the Gulf, Treasure Island. Beautiful, beautiful hotel and a great place to go hang out on the weekends.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
And as you know, I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. I've got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about here. We got a waterfront beauty here in Riverview, 9303 Alice Lane. This is right on the river, 15 minutes to downtown Tampa, and it's a gorgeous waterfront beauty here, 9303 Alice Lane. This property is almost an acre of land right on the river. You got 2 boat docks, you've got a mother-in-law suite, beautiful pool, covered patio, beautiful pavers out there, just a gorgeous landscape. Almost an acre of land listed at $599,000. Just a gorgeous property in Riverview. And we also have 206 Mariner. This one's in Tarpon Springs. 206 Mariner is a ground floor condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's furnished as an option if you want to buy the furnishings as well. And it's got a pond view, conservation view on the ground floor. 206 Mariner over in Tarpon Springs. A couple of beautiful real estate properties here in lovely Tampa Bay. All right, let's jump right into it. So we've got Leo Cannyn in the studio, and he is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to project engineering. And what you seeing out there, man?
Well, I was looking forward to my 2-beer beach over at Bilmar this weekend, but that's not going to happen with all this rain.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, we got the weather outside is frightening.
You know what happens
snow is so delightful.
It is. And you walk outside. What's nice though is when that rain does let up in the evening. I mean, how gorgeous of a night does that turn out to be?
With
sometimes
the mosquitoes.
Yeah, they're not going to come out this time of year.
Like the worst, like this time of the year when the eggs are all in the ground, you get the rain. Once the rain stops, sun starts to set, the mosquitoes rise up like a plague.
Even the cold winter like this?
It's like a blight. They don't care. They wait for the right weather conditions. And the 20-year locust in the desert, they just wait for the right weather conditions, and then they swarm and blight out of the ground.
Interesting. Yeah, they've we're looking into different ways that we can keep those mosquitoes out of our backyard over at the new crib. So,
well, I know there's companies out there. They do the mosquito spraying. They also have the citronella candles. Rosemary is a very natural repellent for mosquitoes. My wife has rosemary plants and basil plants all around the house.
Oh, okay.
They always smell like Thanksgiving.
That's great. Yeah, we're gonna have Connor Keller get over there, Insect IQ. He's gonna come take a look at it and give us his opinions on it. But yeah, man, that's the mosquito side of the Florida living. But I wouldn't think this year's as bad, or this time of year is bad.
It's always a potential. I mean, saturated 3 days of rain. Plants are loving it. I mean, I'm looking out the studio window. That oleander tree is loving it.
Yeah, he is.
Talking about landscaping. But mostly what we like to talk about, though, is structural engineering and the defects that make your house collapse.
Yes. So when this rain happens, especially, what's the season when you see more of the sinkhole activity? It's more of the rainy season, correct?
Yeah, sinkhole activity will not mostly, but we do see a lot of it between the end of April and the beginning of June. That's when the ground has dried up and then the fresh rains come in, and you get all that soil movement because the soil gets wet and then starts falling into these pockets that form underground, these sinkholes.
Yeah.
And that's when we really start to see it happen, is that time of the year. So this time of the year is a little off because everyone who survived the summer and thought they can push their roof replacements off until next spring, they're in for awakening right now. I mean, 3 days straight of rain. This isn't even typical for what we normally see in the rainy season. Normally it's wet, it gets really hot, the rain evaporates, we get a little more wet. This is 3 days straight. I haven't even been able to take my dogs outside. I have to put puppy pads down in the house.
Yeah. It's real stuff happening, man. Real white collar problems there, right?
Yeah, I'm like, what is it? The feel good moment of the week? Man puts puppy pad down so dog doesn't have to go out in tornado.
There you go.
There we go. Feel good story of the week.
One life at a time.
Local business owner puts puppy pads down so dog does not have to go out in the tornado to go potty.
Yes.
I am the feel good story of the week.
There you go. Now you just got to issue the press release.
Yeah. You gonna hit me on "Oh Come On Man" or an Audible? For
you want one of those?
I want an "Oh Come On Man."
Come on, man. There you go.
I'm the feel good story of the week.
Go. Yeah. So that's So that is those types of things happening. So this time of year, a lot of people are planning for the 2019, goal setting within the company, or even as a homeowner, kind of planning their 2019. What's happening on your end in terms of planning? I know you're doing a lot of expansion too.
Yeah, we're doing the expansion. We did well with the Orlando expansion, the Sarasota expansion that brought us to Fort Myers. Orlando brought us to Melbourne. We just kind of gobbled up Lakeland in the middle. We like to do our goal planning for not next year, but the year after. We did our 2020 goal planning last month.
Nice.
Yeah, it was strange, but only 3% of all people will write down their goals.
Yes.
And if you want to be a 1%er of people who are actually self-actualized from the Maslow hierarchy of needs, you have to be in that 3% of people who write down their goals.
Yep.
It's like 90% of successful people are the 3% of people who write down their goals. So write them down. You have to have personal goals, professional goals, spiritual goals.
Yep.
Even if you don't believe in a spirituality, there's still a cleansing element of spirituality that's not tied to religion. Need to have those family goals. Need to have them. Need to look at them on a regular basis, and you can be very successful if you do that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's J. Paul Meyer had the SMART goal setting, strategy system that he would implement. And that's interesting though. Yeah, a year ahead. That's great, man.
Yeah,
just planning a year ahead.
Yeah, what we do, I usually sit down, I revamp my 2019 goals. I'll plan my 2020 goals, but then I'm doing a 3-year and a 5-year and a 10-year. And actually, I had just achieved a year and a half ago my 10-year goal.
Nice.
And I was kind of like floating around there, and I was kind of depressed. I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have a 10-year purpose. And 2 months ago, I came up with a new 10-year goal, so I'm re-energized.
Good for you, man. That's great. Yeah, that's one of my favorite quotes I talk about, and I've said it on the show here probably a handful of times, is that David Banfield of Harvard conducted a 50-year study into what leads into the upward socio and economic development and growth of individuals, people in the world. How do some people get born into nothing and all of a sudden become millionaires, in a matter of years or decades? And he said the number one thing that came out over that 50-year study was developing long-time perspective. So exactly what you're mentioning.
Well, it's like, I have a friend who runs some trailer parks, mobile home parks.
Yeah.
He charges them on a weekly basis for rent.
Yep.
He charges them more money than if these people actually had a monthly mortgage or a monthly rent payment. But because these people live day to day, like he either gets their rent payment on Friday before they hit the gas station to buy beer, or he has to evict them. At that level, they're only thinking about their next meal, their next day, their next paycheck.
That's a good point. I'm going to use that.
And that's the low end income people.
That is.
So when you get to the higher end income people, if you have to plan, like when Anthony got his home inspector license, he needed to take a 120-hour course. That could take 3 or 4 weeks to get a home inspector license. To get an engineering degree, that can take 4 years. To get an engineering license, it takes another 4 years. When Anthony got his certified master inspector, that took 3 years.
Yep.
This is why Anthony and I are successful, because we make these steps today for something that's not going to even pan out for 2 to 3 years from now.
Absolutely.
And then Anthony's got a really exciting announcement about his next license when we come back from the break.
Cool. We're going into a break. Absolutely. But that's good stuff. I love this kind of a conversation, especially this time of year. This is when it's most important for people, because a lot of people are, postponing that talk, and they're not getting serious about writing down the goals, because there's something magical that happens when you take it out of the air and helping you win any marketplace. We've got Leo Cannyn in the house, Beryl Engineering, and we also have their lead inspector in studio, Anthony Maselli, Beryl Project Management and Engineering as well. So we talked about insurance claims. We're talking about tile roof, and we left off on a little bit of goal setting talks. So so you've done some talks on goal setting, right, Leo?
Yeah, actually, I present the before I'm in the, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, TBRIA, the wholesaler networking group that I'm allowed to talk about. Yeah. So I'm a subgroup host for Brandon's chapter of TBRIA, and it's basically for wholesalers and for other people in that flippers, fix and flippers, rehabbers. And every year I give a presentation on goal setting.
Cool.
This year we did a 3-year goal setting session, broke out into strategy groups. It was really awesome. Sat down with about 20 wholesalers and fix and flippers and got them aligned for being able to create smart goals, goals that you can actually track, measure, and obtain, and got them to sit down, timetable it out, and hopefully they will take those and plop them on their fridges and then become part of the 3% to get their goals taken care of.
You got to see it. You got to visualize it. You got to see it. You got to have, your brain is going to put into account. Your brain has an operating system. It's a 2 million year old system. Normally, if you leave it on a default setting, it's a 2 million year old organ that's looking for that saber-toothed tiger. It's looking for the next damage, the thing that's going to challenge you. It's in a negative set almost. Now, what you were talking about is the smart goal setting. I've got pulled up my note here on that. So you've got the smart goal setting strategy, the method actually by Paul J. Meyer. S it's an acronym.
Specific.
So S is for specific. Every goal should be detailed, specific, and precise.
Yeah, I mean, it's detailed, specific / precise. I mean, the average goal that we come up with is like 20 to 30 words.
20 to 30 words.
I mean, a goal. My goal is I'm going to lose weight in 2019 is not a goal.
Right.
The goal would then, I want to lose 10 pounds per month for the first 3 months in 2019 by changing my diet and cutting out the following foods. That would be an entire goal. So just saying I'm going to lose weight in 2019 is a vision statement, a mission statement. You're never going to get there.
It's too loose.
Yeah. When you have your SMART goal, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time dependent. When you have those 5 elements and you can write down the goal and you can actually see the starting of a roadmap by that goal, that's stage 1. Stage 2 is to take each one of those goals and then create more of a roadmap, 3 to 5 ways you plan to take your SMART goal and break it down 3 to 5 milestones you need to hit to get to that goal. And that is a true goal.
And back into it.
Yeah, but
how do you back into it?
I'm just happy if people will say, I'm going to lose weight in 2019, put on their fridge.
Yeah.
But if you want to truly be empowered and you truly want to hit your goal, you need to have that SMART goal, very specific. You need to read it 2 to 3 times a day. It needs to energize you and make you excitable.
Yes.
And it's positive. So you're working towards, you crash out the saber-toothed tiger with having a saber-toothed tiger's sword that you're now using, made from the tusks of the tiger. You turn that into a positive. So the next saber-toothed tiger that comes across, you just slash his head right off.
Yeah, there you go. Slash the head off. So, as we talked about the S, the M is measurable, which we kind of covered. A, we stand for action-oriented result. Real is realistic and relevant. You want to keep it within a realistic, reach, but still make it challenging. And then T is time-based goals. Tell you when you should have the goal completed. Helps you be accountable for your actions and keep you from procrastinating. And creating an action plan is what you talked about. So that action plan is key. Whenever you're coming up with that, and it's something where you don't want to have these lofty type goals to where you can't reach them either.
Yeah, because and we covered this in the session. If your goal is too lofty, you're just going to get depressed when you see it, or you're going to realize you can't make it. Like if I told you you needed to make $1 million in 2019, that sounds. But if I broke it down to you need to sell a listing a week.
Yes.
That becomes more realistic.
Yes.
So you got to present these goals in ways that are realistic.
Yeah.
Like one flipper wanted to do 60 houses. And I'm like, well, what did you do in 2018? He's like, I did 20. I'm like, you're never going to hit 60.
Yeah.
Let's set a goal for 30.
Yes.
Let's talk about what systems you need to change to get there.
Yes.
He didn't have the subcontractor base to do 60. He didn't have anything to do 60.
Yeah.
So create a more realistic goal, make it attainable, and then you can become excited. And I become so excited about this topic. I'm just like, I'm elevated right
And it's
now.
so much about, I love it too. And it's so much about the mindset, and it starts with routines, your habits, your routines. So your habits in the morning, if you're sleeping in until 9:30, 10 o'clock, that's not going to do it. You got to be the 5:30, 6:30 guy that gets up, he's hitting the gym, whatever your morning routine is. And you can do all types of variations of that, meditation, prayer, and then throughout the day, what I catch myself doing, what I try to do with the programming that goes on, because we've got a record that's running in our mind. Some of it's negative. Most of it's negative for 95% of the people. So what you can do is implement those incantations. I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. And so there's all these different incantations. I feel great. I feel fine. I feel like this all the time. These sound cheesy a little bit to some people, but
awesome.
It really does. It creates in your mind that's vision that you're going to need. And when you're thinking about other stuff, sometimes your mind wanders, but whenever you pull it back in and you come back to that, I've probably said those phrases 10,000 times, but that's what's going to help you get to that next level.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's part of the spiritual goal that I was talking about earlier. It doesn't matter if you believe or what your religion is. You just mentioned a spiritual goal and you didn't actually link it to a religion.
Right.
It's something to help cleanse your body, cleanse your mind, give you focus. That is a spiritual goal, and that is secular. That goes for any religion. That goes for any belief system.
Yes, yeah, exactly. The main religion is love. I mean, you look at any family, you look at any business, it all boils down to love. We call it a different name in some different parts of the country because that's where we were born and that's how we were programmed. But Lindsay and I went to a really cool retreat this past year in the mountains of New York in Bovina, and it was really cool. It was called Kriya Shakti, where you're taking it to the next level. You're literally envisioning that specific measurable goal here in your hands, like you're literally visioning that goal, and then you face the north because that's where the energy body of the prosperity comes from, and then you basically envision that goal, you pack it tight, and then you push it to the universe, and you cut it off and you let it go and you release it because you believe that much that it's there, it's gone.
That is awesome.
Pretty neat, man. It's really opening. So Lindsay's been doing that pranic healing, energy work stuff for the last few years, several years. But it's really cool. And then you look back, like you said, sometimes you forget. Like we're getting ready to move into a beautiful waterfront home. That was a goal. Here we are, 8 to 10, 12 days away from doing that. So hey, good stuff here on the show. Leo bringing his A game today. We got Anthony coming up as well. Anthony's going to talk more about some of the insurance claims, tile roofs in particular as well, some of the roofing systems, and how that might affect your real estate properties here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So stay with us. More from our expert contributors and our feel-good story of Quarterback Show. All right, so we heard from Leo Cannyn, Beryl Project Engineering, and he brought one of his inspectors here today, lead inspector Anthony Maselli as well. So when it comes to these tile roofs, what are you seeing in terms of this tile roofs, and how are they withstanding a lot of this rain and storms?
Well, what I'm seeing a lot from last year's Irma is a lot of displaced movement. A lot of them are broken, cracked. It's pretty much at least 50% or more of the roof has been damaged.
Yeah.
And
they get cracked. I see that a lot. They crack, and then does the water go in, but it's still under the layment?
Well, the crack would be more of I would say, debris hitting the roof.
Okay.
They're more of they're pulled, they're displaced, they're not secured down anymore when they first put them on. So if you actually walk on the concrete tile, you can actually feel them moving and displacing because they lost that integrity from the wind pulling them up.
And also you get knuckleheads up there that are pressure washing or whatever, cleaning the roofs.
That's possibly as well. Right? I mean, we can't prove who's doing what, especially after a big windstorm. We don't know. I mean, some people say they don't have anybody up on their roof, so who would question it? Mm-hmm. But yeah, chances are it's maybe a little of both.
So a tile roof is a good way to go in terms of longevity, but it may cost a little bit more.
It needs more maintenance because things will wear and tear versus your asphalt, which is nailed in. It's not going to go anywhere pretty much. But concrete, you have mortar that's holding it in place as well, which can break down as well. And that needs to be looked at every year or so, making sure that if it's moving or cracking, it needs to be resealed up again to keep it, in place.
And aluminum, the steel, the metal roofs, those are really nice, right?
Then that's a solid roof. I mean, but they can still, even at the seams, be pulled up by wind. We just had one last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can see the seams were just ripped apart Now, to do that on a metal roof, it's got to be some good wind, a good gust to take that and tear the seam apart.
Yeah.
I can't see anything else doing it besides wind.
Right.
Even like just time, debris.
It just takes just a little bit of movement to get that little bit of a half a centimeter, and then all of a sudden the wind's underneath it.
Correct. Now, if by chance it wasn't installed properly or whatever, could maybe contribute, but it's hard to say.
What about you got one of these attorney firms running around out there now, yelling from the rooftops, if your house was built before 78, you got these bad pipes, or before, have you seen those commercials yet? I don't want to say the company's name because they don't support the show, but yeah, this attorney, he's running around, if your house was built before this date. So he's saying that they're successfully suing the insurance companies. Any opinion on that? Have you guys been involved with any of that? Have you re-inspected any of these?
I have not had any issues myself with cast iron. No, I mean, they say that it's kind of like a galvanized. It still corrodes them inside out.
Yes.
So I haven't seen any on my inspections, but you would need to scope them to see it. You can't really see visually.
So that's cast iron, not these polybutylene pipes? Is that...
Polybutylene is a little more of a connection issue with the way they connect to each other with the copper. Or poly also as well can corrode from the inside out, too, they say.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, and I guess if it happens for a homeowner and the attorney gets a hold of it, they're going to recover some money, is what they're saying. They're looking to recover some money for the homeowners.
Yes,
because
poly's more of the 80s.
Because they're saying the insurance company should not have insured that. So what are they supposed to do? Just have no insurance on it?
Well, what's happening now is, sorry to
No, go ahead.
Interject, but the insurance companies are getting smarter, and they're doing certain exclusions. Like we had a claim that we were a part of where the insurance company says we're only going to support up to $10,000 in plumbing damage, and they don't actually repair the damage. They just repair what else happens from the damage. So if your kitchen drain pipe breaks and the cabinets get flooded, they'll only cover the cabinets. So they're really trying to get big on the denials, which is why Anthony spends most of his weeks out there in the field doing the claims on the inspection side to help fight the insurance companies. And it's
good for you, man.
Yeah,
protecting the homeowners.
Correct.
Yeah, being a consumer advocate out there. So the consumer advocate side is something we talk a lot about on the show. What else do you think our consumers would need to know or should know? Just kind of opening it up to all systems in the house. You got the plumbing, the AC, the electrical, the roofing. What's something that, as a consumer advocate, you would say, with your knowledge?
Well, if it comes to a concrete tile roof after any type of windstorm, tornado, get somebody up there just to inspect your roof. I mean, make sure that nothing did move. It. Don't wait for the first leak to come.
Right, because then it's already too late. Yeah.
I mean, time has gone by, and they tend to forget after a certain amount of time. It's
out of sight, out of mind.
It's been a year, so who knows what could have hit it from that point. So yeah, if it's a high windstorm, debris, and even like these tornado watches we hear about.
Yes.
If I would get somebody up there when the storm clears and say, do me a favor, just check my roof out, make sure nothing moved, displaced.
Yeah. And a lot of inspectors, I know, like for termite, like Connor Keller, for termite stuff, they have free inspections. Not if you're going to go in there and dig around and do a lot of How does it break down with you guys for something like that? If somebody just wants the roof checked out,
we can't do free inspections because that's a level of bias. If we get paid by the results of our inspection, or if we get paid if a certain outcome happens, that's bias. So we have to do our fees. They're published.
As you should. If a homeowner,
roofers do it because they want the job. So
roofers do it. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. We're not taking sides on. We're not trying to give them a service. We're inspecting for the client.
We clash a lot.
Yeah,
we clash a lot with these companies that come out, especially foundation work. I'm not going to mention the company's names, but they'll say they need $15,000, $20,000 worth of damage.
Right.
Repairs, and we'll take a look at it and we'll say, no, you need about $1,500 to $2,000, but they're going to give you a $15,000 invoice because they need to make it worth their while.
Right. Yeah, because they got to set up the trucks, bring in the concrete.
That's not just that; they just don't want to do all that effort for a $2,000 job. They'd rather make a bunch of recommendations for upgrades, which could be done, but don't have to be done. And that creates a lot of confusion, especially when on the buyer-seller side of a real estate transaction hires one of these companies to come in and give an honest opinion. They're just getting a quote for an invoice for future work.
Yeah, you've got to be diligent. You really do. Like even with our build, I'm in the attic just the other day. I'm looking at the corners up there with Jay, and we're looking at the corners and we're like, there's no light coming through. we're missing the, what is it, banisters or the ballast? What do they call it? Not banisters. Basically like the egg crates.
Oh, the soffits
that allow the airflow to come
baffles,
through. The baffles, yes. So the baffles, so going back to that contractor, hey, your guys didn't do the job right, and if it was just a regular homeowner that didn't get an inspection, they're sitting there, and the results of that, just so you know what the results are, your attic is 20 degrees hotter than it should be. Your air conditioning's working 20% harder than it should. By the way, your asphalt tiles are burning up after 20 years instead of 30 or 40 years.
Well, on that note, you would only see baffles where it's insulated, not the garage end, which is not insulated.
Right.
So you don't need the baffles there.
Yeah.
It just holds back the insulation.
So we looked up. It's pretty much all dark. You had a little bit of light over here.
Yeah.
So it's a clear cut case of the guy's not doing the job right. And it's just to the point though, is the market's hot. Contractors are busy. For them to pull guys off another money making job, it's one of those things where, let's see if we can get away with it. Or they don't know about it. So not meaning that they're maliciously doing that, but you'll be surprised about how much corporate skimming goes on out there. If you look at your bank statement sometimes, it's like, hey, I didn't do that charge. Well, you got to find it, call them, and then actually let them know about it. But hey, stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. More from our expert contributors here. All right, so Leo Cannyn in the house, Beryl Project Engineering, Anthony Maselli as well, lead inspector. We've got some pictures. You brought some pictures for our TV show. If you're watching our TV show out there on WeBeam TV, you're going to get to see these pictures that we have. I think, Rob, if you can find those for us. But 5 o'clock drive time daily here on 1380 The Biz, weekend show on 102.5 The Bone and WeBeam TV. So what do we have here, Anthony?
That's one of the ridge caps lifted up. As you can see, it's lost its bonding from the high wind. So it's just easy to pull right up.
So over the years, just the concrete glue, whatever that is, it's coming apart.
It really shouldn't on the age of this particular roof. That looks more like the wind helped it a lot. Yeah, it really shouldn't.
Or a bad install.
Nah,
Probably
I don't think
not.
it's because it's just too common to be a bad install.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
That's the same thing. The tiles are easy to lift up. They're displacing. They're not locked in anymore. So again, that's mostly high wind when you have a section like that the whole section's loose.
And a high enough wind, that's turning into a missile projected into your neighbor's house.
Yeah, now this one is completely gone.
Wow. So that one's completely gone there. All right, what are we looking at here?
We're looking at moisture coming through the ceiling, which obviously because the tiles are displaced, broken. And as you can see, the right side, that's the thermal image showing that there's moisture.
77.8 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, you can see the darker color.
Oh, I see. Okay, so there you go. So you've got your 82.9 degrees Fahrenheit in this red and orange section, and it's blowing cold from the top, so that's why it's blue-green?
It's because of the air conditioner vent is on.
The vent, blowing cold air.
Yeah, so obviously the more red you see, the higher temperature. The blue would be the cooler temperature.
Interesting. So there's all kinds of tools and devices that you guys are using now to help you with your job. So what is that device you're using?
That's an infrared with checking temperature. Usually moisture is going to make it a little bit cooler than the actual surrounding area.
So it helps you kind of figure out, hey, what's going on behind the wall, what's happening in there?
Well, not necessarily behind the wall, but it's trying to mostly at the surface. If I want to go further, we'll do a moisture meter.
Okay.
Try to pick up the moisture itself.
Moisture meter,
yeah,
got it.
Infrared's good. Mostly on if you can see it, it's good to use. If you believe it's there, go with the moisture meter. It'll pick it up better.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I see. So yeah, there's some pretty cools that you guys have in your tool belt. What else are you using? Nowadays you can just hit a button and see wall to wall the measurements, right?
A laser, yeah.
You got a laser measure.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Technology. What's new in technology that you're seeing, Leo?
Oh, wow. We see everything from drones. I mean, some of our tile reports, we do drone flyovers first. We can analyze the entire roof in an hour.
Wow.
As opposed to if we had to physically walk an entire roof, it might take 4 or 5 days to get that level of detail.
Right.
So we got drone technology for roofs that are too tall. Anthony has what I call camera on a stick. It's a 30-foot extending pole that we put a camera on it.
Wow.
And a GoPro on the top. So
that's cool.
All these tools allow us to better find the defects, better find the wind damage, better find the hail damage, and better allow us to tear their expert reports apart. Anthony has an inspection tomorrow where our sole purpose is to go out there and document the insurance company's inspection practice. So our lawyer or our client's lawyer can then grill them. Beryl did this. Why didn't you do this? Beryl did this. Why didn't you do this?
Yeah.
Because engineering, everyone thinks engineering's black and white.
Yeah.
But it's really gray. The level of detail you do on the inspection will generate a certain level of data. And based on that data set, you make a conclusion. So if you go above and beyond like we do to analyze and collect data, we're going to find defects other firms are going to say aren't there.
Yeah, the storm damage, that's something that's serious stuff, man. You got, by the way, if you just joined us, Brandon Rhymes here. We're talking with Leo Cannyn, Anthony Maselli, Beryl Project Management, or Engineering rather, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So when you look at that, when it comes down to choosing and looking for the right connections, that's why we set up this show, be their consumer advocate, but outside of that, technology is driving a lot of the decisions people are looking at and the ways that you can get their better reporting. So for example, the hurricane happens, the storm happens, the homeowner submits the claim is then either partially denied or fully denied, and that's where you step in and kind of start coming in.
Yeah, what usually happens, and I hate to say this is what usually happens, but this is what usually happens. The insurance company knows what your deductible is. They send their own adjuster out. Again, we're back to bias. The adjuster says the damage is just at the deductible.
Yep.
So the insurance company doesn't have to pay. I've seen it time and time again.
Yep.
And that's when you need to get your own public adjuster, your own law firm, and then the law firms then threaten to sue, and then everything settles because you got a $40,000 claim or an $80,000 lawsuit.
Right.
Take your pick.
Right. Have you been an expert witness when it comes to the lawsuits where they actually get to the lawsuit, or like 99% don't even get there, right?
They all settle. We have yet to have one go to trial on any litigation work we've been associated with in the past 6 years. We have yet to see one actually go the distance.
Yeah.
It all settles. We've been deposed. We get questioned. We have to establish ourselves as experts. That's why Anthony is a certified master inspector. We are experts, but it never gets to trial. I want that Law and Order moment. I want that Perry Mason moment. I want that Columbo moment where I'm actually in the courtroom getting asked the questions, but it has not happened, and I don't think it's going to happen on these claims.
I got to say, you'd be good at it, Leo. You'd be good at it.
Yeah.
You're ready for it. Let's jump into our lightning round. Lightning round?
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored.
All right, top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Leo Cannyn, Beryl Engineering.
I want all the listeners to create one goal they want to accomplish in the next 6 months.
Nice.
Write it down, put it on your fridge. Just one simple goal. Doesn't have to, like I said earlier, I'd be happy if it just said I want to lose 10 pounds. But try and make it more specific. But just write down something you want to achieve in the next 6 months. Put it on your fridge. Look at it every day. Lightning round.
I like it. Love it. Anthony, you got any parting words of advice, words of wisdom for our listeners?
Well, I kind of agree with what he's saying. Just stay on your goals. My goal next year is to become a building code inspector myself. It's going to take some more classes, more training, but always try and better yourself.
That's it.
Yeah, just keep going. Keep climbing that ladder.
Personal development, the more education you have, the more marketable you are, the more marketable your skills. I've heard it said that, if you ask people, what's your number one asset? Hey, I got this beautiful car, I got a nice house. Your number one asset is your knowledge, skills, and abilities that you've accumulated over, for me, 41 years. That's my number one asset, my ability to say, if something were to happen and whatever, I lost my real estate license, I can go somewhere else and make a ton of money because I've got a skill set that's there. I've got a skill set and I've got the work ethic to follow it. So that's a great point. On the personal development, it's up to you to create the paycheck that you want, especially today. We live in the best time to be alive as a human being with all the tools and access we have to, videos online, to self-improvement. You can do it all at home. You don't have to go anywhere.
Don't cap your knowledge.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good stuff. Hey, great show today. Leo Cannyn, Beryl Project Engineering, Anthony Maselli as well. Thanks so much. Thanks to our viewers and listeners out there for supporting us all year. We're real excited about 2019. We got a lot of events coming up. We'd love to engage with you. If you're on our email list, of course, you're seeing that. But if not, follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. We got our Facebook pages out there. LinkedIn, connect on LinkedIn if you'd like. There's a lot of ways that we can help you. We always end our show the same way. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing, hand it to that person that you see in need, and be a force for good in the community. Great time of year to volunteer as well. Get involved with your local charities, churches, food banks, maybe even go into a nursing home and talk to some folks that are in there, and you'll actually see how much Jim Rohn's quote was, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show. Weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.